Update. I told my mom how jealous I am of my half-siblings and now she won't stop crying. I-16 male was born to my mom when she was 15 and I've never known my real dad. My mom didn't drop out of school or anything, and the year after I was born, she started dating Jack. And when they went to university, I obviously got left behind with my grandparents. Mom and Jack got good degrees, got married and moved to Vancouver. My mom's always been in my life. She would still come home every weekend just to cuddle with me and would always give me these nicknames, but calling me her special guy was her favorite one. She'd always bring me back presents and gifts and spend the whole time playing with me. She's the one who paid for my tutoring and after-school stuff and would try and make it to games and stuff like that. Jack wouldn't always come with her, but it was always fun when he would. He's taken me fishing with him a lot of times and we even went camping for 2 weeks together once, but never again because I hate camping. But when I was 10, my mom and Jack had a daughter and then another girl 3 years ago. I don't really know them, especially because my mom stopped coming over as much after they were born. We don't cuddle anymore. We did on my birthday, but that's it. No more cute nicknames for me except for special guy. It's like they all got transferred to her daughters. No more gifts, and the worst part is, she doesn't come to my games anymore. It was okay with me before, because they still had a spare room in their house and I could go there when it's time for university. Yesterday, my mom FaceTimed and she had the big announcement that she was going to have another baby, and it was a boy. And now she'd have 2 special guys. I guess she saw how sour my face was, because she asked what's wrong. And I don't know, I just admitted how jealous I was that her daughters got her so much, and now her son was going to get her. There wouldn't even be space for me there when I had to go to university. And I guess what I said affected her because she started crying and wouldn't stop and had to hang up. My grandparents are mad that I made her upset and think I don't value them now or something. Jack phoned me and he's mad because my mom thinks it's a mistake now to have another kid. And also mad at me, and he was like, why would I ever think they wouldn't have a room for me? I feel like I really messed up telling her that. And here I am at school writing about it on Reddit because I can't stop thinking about it. Now for the top comments before reading the update. I don't know why all the adults in your life are blaming you, a child, for your very valid feelings about this. They should be trying to make you feel more comfortable and included, rather than try to smother your genuine feelings. Your mom feels bad because she should. She's in her 30s now. There's no reason why she can't be around you anymore. There's no reason Opie shouldn't be living with his mother. If she's supporting her own family and having kids, the grandparents' time of raising Opie should be over now. I question why Opie's mom doesn't have him living with her. I was surprised when mom finished college, she didn't move her son into her home. No wonder he feels neglected. I feel like Jack played a big role in why he's not living with them. It's horrible when new partners don't accept children from previous relationships and treat them with love and respect. I understand that the children must also treat the new partner with love and respect. But adults are adults. Children are children. Some adults don't have maturity and so many stepchildren feel unloved. Why couldn't you move back once she graduated and started another family? She can't have her cake and eat it too. Unless the grandparents formally adopted him, then he is still her child. She passed the buck completely and her parents enabled her. Not helped. They enabled the abandonment. It baffles me how people can just leave kids and start completely new families. And now they've decided that he should have suffered in silence, so none of the adults are required to feel bad about what they've done. And now for the update. So I posted on Friday at school, and when I come home, my mom and Jack and their kids were already there talking to my grandparents. As soon as my mom saw me, she gave me such a big hug she actually lifted me up for a second, which is weird because I'm taller than her now, and then wouldn't stop kissing me on the face and telling me she loves me. I said hi to everyone, and my grandparents had my mom take me into my room to talk to me alone. In my room, she told me she was sorry that I felt like she'd been paying me less attention, and that a new baby isn't going to replace me, and I'd always be her special guy. I started crying, so we weren't able to talk until I calmed down, and then Jack came in and joined us. I just admitted that I felt like I wasn't that important to my mom anymore, and if they were having a boy, then there would be no point in them taking me when it's time for university. And then Jack left because he kind of started crying hearing me say that, and that was weird. My mom told me that she wanted to take me when I was 13 and going into high school because she thought that was the best time to do it. Except she argued with my grandparents about it a lot, and they said it was best if I stayed with them. Then when my mom took me to a game, she saw how much fun I was having with my friends and thought they were right. When I said I wanted to go to SFU, she and Jack were happy because it meant I would be with them when I graduated. When I asked about the spare room that was meant to be mine, she admitted that they hadn't thought about what would be the baby's room and would have to figure something out since they aren't giving up my room. My mom told me she'd come and take me every weekend because she said it was wrong that she started paying less attention to me but thought it was okay because I was independent and had my grandparents. She said that she wanted me to spend my breaks with them as well. I don't want to leave my high school, but my mom said I could do that for my grad year if I wanted to move in with them earlier. I did have a talk with Jack too, and he told me that he was glad I confessed everything and that his parents got mad at him for not telling me that when he called me. We did all have a fun weekend together, except my grandparents because they don't leave the house due to COVID, and I do want weekends to keep being like that. I don't know if I'm allowed to keep doing updates here, so this might be the only one. But hopefully this will help calm down everyone who keeps messaging this account for one. Seems like a lot of his grief could have been prevented if the adults had asked him if he wanted to remain with grandparents or go with mom, or even at least explain to him the reasoning behind him not going. Absolutely. I remember reading in the comments that their decision to keep him with his grandparents was supposedly fueled by a child psychologist recommending against removing him from the environment he was used to. But he was like 10 years old at that point. Shouldn't they have taken his opinion into consideration? Truly a sad situation for OP. I hope things turn out well for him. A psychologist told my parents to make me homeless when I was struggling as a teen. There are some bad ones out there. A psychologist told me a few weeks ago, during a first appointment by telephone where it was clear she was driving and not paying attention to me, that I couldn't have been diagnosed as being on the autism spectrum because I seemed fine to her, and I just needed to go out and meet people. Then she recommended I read a book on Freud and ended the session 20 minutes early. So yeah, some therapists are absolute joke. I'm glad about the outcome, but I despise how the first reaction after a teen voicing their feelings is anger and guilt-tripping from all adults involved. The kid is 16, voices how he feels and why, and stepdad gets mad, grandparents get mad and jealous. It's infuriating. Also, no one ever communicated with him. At least Opie learned that skill. I couldn't agree more. The poor kid was basically left alone to feel like he was the one who did something wrong, when all he did was voice his very valid feelings. Every adult in the story, not just the mother, should seriously apologize to him for how they reacted to this whole thing, and I really hope they all learn to communicate with OP better. It could have been just a choice of word by OP. However, if his mom actually said, "I'm sorry you feel like," that's such an a-hole thing to say. You're basically saying I don't agree with how you're feeling. I've read several posts of parents getting remarried and or having more offspring and just almost forgetting their first offspring exists. Like they think they can get a total do-over at being a parent, and are Pikachu shocked when their offspring voiced displeasure. Yes, lady, your son who you have kind of forgotten about is not gonna be exactly thrilled when you tell him you're gonna have another son when you barely interact with him as it is. Then in like a decade or two, the parents are gonna be shocked that their offspring wants nothing to do with them and just have no idea what they did wrong. Last story. I don't feel guilty about the loss of my sister's son. So I, female 24, was 7 or 8 at the time this happened. My older sister Susan, 37, was 20 or 21 and she had a newborn baby. Our mom was at work at the time, so it was me, my sister, and the baby at home. We didn't have a dad, and all of our relatives live in another country, so we were at my sister's care. My sister was always someone who likes to go out with friends, to parties, and wasn't often home, until she was pregnant and had the baby. So, she only could go out and have fun when our mom had a day off. Our mom was always understandable of my sister, being that she was now a single mom too as the baby's father bailed out, and Susan missed her friends and her previous lifestyle. But was also angry sometimes because her day off was spent babysitting my sister's child, cleaning and cooking. And with time, there were more and more arguments, since my sister only cleaned her room and only cooked for herself. Sometimes I tried to intervene, but my mom only sent me to my room. So this day, I remember I was watching the TV at a time, and Susan comes up to me and says that she's going out with her friend for only a couple of hours and that I had to take care of the baby. I never liked babies and no one bothered to teach me how to care for one, only that they drink milk from a bottle and that they use diapers. I was a little shocked and scared and said that she was supposed to take care of us, and I didn't know anything at all about babies. But my sister ignored me and told me to just take care of him. A little while later, the baby started crying, so I went to my sister's room and tried to figure out what he wanted, but started to freak out. I ran to the kitchen and tried to give him the bottle, but he didn't want it. I tried to give him toys, his blanket, and didn't want it. I tried everything I could think of at a time, but he only cried louder and louder, and I was getting more scared and ran to my room. I put on headphones and hid under the covers and hoped that either Susan or my mom would come home soon and fell asleep. When I woke up, my mom was already home and was calling Susan screaming, but she didn't get home yet. And there was an ambulance and I was really scared again because I understand nothing at a time. And my mom came up to me and hugged me and asked where Susan was, and I told her what happened. It was noon when my sister left, and early night when my mom came home, by the way. I could tell that she was angry but tried to not show it. She asked if I knew where she was, but I didn't. And I asked her what happened and she just told me not to worry, that everything was going to be okay. Later that night, my sister came home and our mom lost it and screamed at her. And Susan screamed back, and so on. I couldn't handle all the screaming, so I was going to my room, but at that moment I heard my sister and felt her grabbing my arm until it hurt. I got scared and started crying, and my sister was screaming at me too. I don't remember most of what she said, but I remember bits like, "It was your fault," and "You're a little monster," until my mom made her free me and I ran to my room and locked the door. The days later after that, Susan was cold and ignored me. She was either in her room or out, but when she was home, I was afraid of being left alone with her. So I began locking my bedroom door often until my mom was home. Things worsened when Susan came home smelling of alcohol and screaming at me to open my door sometimes. I never did because, again, I was terrified, and my mom had enough and kicked her out. A few months later, my mom got therapy for her and me separately. My mom never told me anything then about what happened, and I never saw my sister again until I was about 17. I used to ask my mom how she was, and she just told me that she was doing good. When I saw her again when she came home to visit, and I was a little bit in shock and on edge. I was glad to see her, of course, but also weirded out because I remembered how she treated me when I was younger. It was my mom's day off, so we were all in the kitchen talking about normal stuff like work, grades, relatives, etc. Until my sister out of the blue says that she thinks she deserves an apology. I was confused and didn't know if she was referring to me or mom. And Susan looks at me and says that I have to apologize to her for what happened. I asked what she was talking about, and my mom told my sister to get out. But Susan started to raise her voice and tell me to say sorry for what I did to her baby and that it was my fault that he died. My mom dragged her to the door and closed it when Susan was out while I was still shocked and didn't know what to do or say. After that, my mom explained very briefly what happened and that they talked about reuniting us because Susan felt ready to see me again and wanted to make peace, but didn't expect that to happen. For the full story, she waited until I was 18 to tell me. So what happened was, while I was sleeping in my room, somehow the baby suffocated. My sister blames me for what happened because she left me in charge of him. My mom found him and called the ambulance, but it was too late. Blamed my sister for being irresponsible and leaving not only her little sister, but her own child as well, just to go partying. For a while, I was still processing the info. But in the end, I understand that I was just a kid and didn't have any idea on how to do anything for a baby. And when I got overstimulated and stressed, I panicked and hid where I felt safe. However, my sister has been trying to contact me recently. She says it's because, like she told my mom, wants to reconnect and resolve this. I was on the fence about it because of the past experiences, so I talked about this to my mom and my therapist before doing anything. I relented at the end to meet with her, but only in a public place to make sure she doesn't do anything crazy. We went to a cafe, and again, like the previous time, everything was normal at the beginning. But after a bit of a small talk, my sister told me it was time that I apologize. I began to leave and pay for my part, then I told her that there was nothing for me to apologize for. She tried to follow me telling me awful stuff, Again, that it was my fault and I'm a murderer and hoped I never have children, and raised her voice more once we were outside. I ended up telling her that I couldn't care anymore about her or her baby, that she was the irresponsible adult who left 2 children at home by themselves, and I didn't feel guilty about it because I knew it wasn't my fault her son died, that I only feel absolute apathy towards her, and to never contact me again. I then left as fast as I could because I couldn't stand being near her while she was screaming and crying. I admit I did feel bad about her and her baby before, but after this meeting, I had enough of her crap, and her blaming a confused and scared child for the death of her son. When I got home, I told everything to my mom, and we agreed that if she tried anything, next time we called the police. So that's it. I just wanted to let all of this out. I tried to be as specific as I could from what I remember, what I've been told, and what I wrote in my diary at a time. Feel better now. Now for the comments. Her actions caused the death of her son and gave you trauma for life, and she had the audacity to say she hopes you never have children? She should have been prosecuted for neglect and child endangerment. Glad your mom is supporting you. You were a child. Your sister was the adult. She is 100% responsible for what happened. You were not. She's just trying to put the blame on you because she's too much of a coward to admit it was her fault. This. Who in their right mind leaves a baby behind with a 7 or 8-year-old? Especially without explaining them how to take care of a child. I mean, I basically raised my sister at age 10, which is still 2 to 3 years older than Opie's age. Though I was parentified, which isn't good, I was explained how to do it all before my baby sister was dumped on me. I was also a single mom at the age of 20, living with my own mom. I never really went out to party, but I did go out with friends a few times. But I never would have left my baby alone with a child. Wouldn't even leave any of my kids alone to people who doesn't agree to take care of them, no matter their age. I have an 8-year-old son, 6-year-old daughter, and 10-month-old daughter. The most my older kids have to do is entertain baby for a couple of minutes while I prepare her food or when I go pee.
Am I the a-hole for embarrassing my husband for saying I baby-trapped him? To put it bluntly, my husband and I had a surprise baby while we were young. I was on long-term birth control at the time, implant in arm, and had to have it removed after we found out I was pregnant. Last week we were out for dinner with friends, and he was making jokes and slipped in one about how he thinks I baby-trapped him. No reason for it, nothing to back up this crazy accusation, never mentioned it before. But I guess drunk words are sober thoughts? Our friends obviously looked a bit shocked and uncomfortable, especially when they saw my face. I asked my husband what the heck he was on about, and he said it was weird that we'd been sleeping together for 4 years, and then I randomly got pregnant. I responded by asking him a flurry of questions like, "Oh, did I baby trap you for your money?" He and his family were broke. Mine is well off. And, "Did I baby trap you for your house?" We lived in one of my parents' properties at the time. "Did I baby trap you for your cars?" He didn't have a license at that point. He didn't respond, and then our friends changed the subject. He's been giving me basically the silent treatment ever since. Only one-word answers, and only when I speak to him. By the way, since having our first, we have been married for 3 years, bought a house with my deposit, and had 2 more children. This completely caught me by surprise, but he really seems quite upset about it. I know it was cruel to embarrass him, but a common phrase in my area is, "Don't dish it out if you can't take it." Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. The fact that this joke came out means he's had the thought before, and enough that it slipped. From info you provided, it sounds like his ego sorely misjudged who he thought he was. Yes, he is probably embarrassed, but so were you. Sounds like he married up and still thinks that he was the prize. It's giving delusional main character energy. She literally brought everything to the table and he still thinks he was the catch? Bro got baby trapped with a free house, no license, and vibes. I think the problem was he didn't drop this as a joke. Because as a joke it could be funny if the delivery's good, but if you're saying it like it's something you truly believe, then it's completely messed up. You don't question the pregnancy when it's just a joke. Not the a-hole. It's not a baby trap when contraception fails. It's biology. His joke wasn't funny. Your response was necessary. Her response was just the truth. If the truth hurts his feelings, maybe he'll think twice before telling cruel lies. Hopefully he'll get over it. For real, the only women that baby trap are kids too stupid and inexperienced to realize how much worse it is for the woman, or those blinded by the mega dollars willing to risk anything for the potential payday. It's really not an average dude kind of thing. Unfortunately, other motivations for baby trapping do exist. My eldest sister purposely conceived a baby with her boyfriend after several months. However, she later informed me the pregnancy wasn't due to either accident or improbability. She had stopped taking her birth control, and once she had tested positive, she had lied to her boyfriend about the miracle. Stunned by her admission, I asked why she had done it. Her response? Her motivation was 1, she wanted a baby, 2, she wanted him to propose to her, and 3, he was a good guy. He was a mama's boy, and she had charmed his mother, so the likelihood of him leaving her was unthinkable. She was, and is, financially independent. I've always been extremely unsettled in my sister's company, and this was the final nail in the fence. My family has always encouraged me to not build against her. She's selfish, sanctimonious, cruel, and the least sincere person in any given area. Edit/mini update. We are 25. We have been together for 10 years and married for 3. We had our first when we were 19. Our relationship has been happy and healthy. I absolutely adore our family of 5, plus 2 fur babies, and we have supported each other through major life events over the past decade. The friends we were with are relatively new ones, and obviously wouldn't know about our first child's surprise conception. I am 100% sure my husband doesn't genuinely think I baby trapped him. I think it was just a very poor joke where I was the punchline, and I opened my mouth before I had time to think. I have apologized for embarrassing him with my response, and he has of course apologized for his inappropriate joke and clarified things with our friends. Thank you for your opinions, tips, and advice. It helped give some clarity and outside insight before having a proper discussion with him about the incident. Next story. Am I the a-hole for breaking up with my girlfriend after she lied about her ex? I, 22 male, have been with my girlfriend Sarah, 27 female, for about 8 months now. When we first started dating, she told me she had only been in 2 serious relationships before, and that her last ex was ancient history, and they hadn't spoken in over a year. Everything was going great, until last weekend when we went to her friend's birthday party. This guy shows up, and Sarah immediately gets weird. She introduces me to him as just a friend, which was already strange since we've been together for 8 months, and she introduces me as her boyfriend to literally everyone else. Later, I see them talking in the corner, and he's touching her arm, and she's laughing way too hard at whatever he's saying. When I went over to join them, Sarah looked super uncomfortable, and the guy just walked away. I asked who he was, and she said just an old friend from college. But then her friend Emma came up to me later and said something about how weird it must be for me to meet the ex that got away. I was confused and asked what she meant. Emma looked shocked and said she thought I knew that was Jake, Sarah's ex-boyfriend of 3 years who she was obsessed with and only broke up with 6 months before we started dating. I confronted Sarah about it the next day. She broke down crying and admitted that Jake was her ex, and that they had actually been texting on and off this whole time. She said she lied because she didn't want me to feel insecure, and that nothing physical happened, but they had been staying in touch as friends. I felt completely betrayed. Not only did she lie about when their relationship ended, but she's been texting him our entire relationship, and then introduced me as just a friend when he showed up. She swore nothing happened, and that she chose me over him, but I don't believe her anymore. When I told her I needed time to think, she started crying and saying I was overreacting. She said lots of people stay friends with their exes, and that she was just trying to protect my feelings by not telling me about the texting. Her friends have been messaging me, saying I'm being too harsh, and that she made a mistake but really loves me. My friends are split. Some say once a liar, always a liar, and I should run. Others think maybe she really was just trying to protect me and I should give her another chance. But I keep thinking about how she introduced me as just a friend to her ex. That felt like she was keeping her options open or something. And the fact that she's been texting him behind my back for months makes me wonder what else she might be hiding. I told her yesterday that I was done and she needs to get her stuff from my apartment. Now she's been calling and texting nonstop, saying she'll do anything to fix this and that I'm the best thing that ever happened to her. Am I the a-hole for ending things over this? Should I give her another chance since nothing physical happened? Not the a-hole. Did you agree to be in a throuple? Because if she's been texting him the whole relationship, she isn't respecting you two as a couple. Also, she introduced you as a friend, so she wants him to think he has a chance still. And the fact her friends say he is the one who got away, you need to run. Yeah, exactly. She wasn't just keeping you in the dark, she was actively making space for him. That friend intro was her telling him you're not serious, and that's a huge betrayal. Her introducing you to everyone else as her boyfriend, but to Jake as my friend, says all you need to know. You're her boyfriend to everyone else, but if Jake is interested in her, then you're nothing but a friend. She's already made her decision. She's just waiting for Jake to make his. Don't wait around as her plan B. You will always be a placeholder until she finds someone she thinks is better. Next story. Am I the a-hole for calling out my husband for buying himself a new iPad while our kitchen is falling apart? So here's what happened. We moved into this house 2 years ago. It's not perfect, far from it, but we've been slowly making it our own. Except, we is generous. I've been the one making do, patching stuff up, budgeting. I cook every day. I clean. I take care of our toddler. I make sure everything runs, even when nothing works right. Our kitchen is a mess. Burners that won't light. A rice cooker with a busted lid. The blender died months ago. I've been using one frying pan with a broken handle. I've mentioned it so many times, like, hey, maybe next month we can buy a set. Or, I saw a good deal on cookware. And he always says, yeah, soon. So imagine my face when he walked in last weekend, holding a brand new iPad Pro. I just stared at him. He didn't even try to hide it. Just goes, it was on sale. I needed something for YouTube and notes. Notes? For what? He doesn't even take notes. He uses his phone for everything. I asked, what about the stuff we actually need? Like, for example, in the kitchen? Where, we make food? He shrugged. It's not that urgent. You're still able to cook, right? Still able to cook? I'm one burnt finger away from throwing that stupid pan out the window. And here's where it gets worse. His mom, who never liked how I managed the household, heard about the argument and told me I was overreacting and that men deserve to treat themselves sometimes. Oh, okay. So I just don't? I snapped. I told him it's disrespectful that I bust my butt every day making meals with broken tools while he gets to spoil himself with expensive toys. And he got mad. Said I made him feel guilty for one small purchase. It's not about the iPad. It's about priorities. It's about how I'm expected to be okay with scraps while he gets shiny new tech. Every single time. Now he's being cold. His mom thinks I'm controlling. And I'm sitting here wondering, should I have just kept my mouth shut? Am I the a-hole? One small purchase. Laughing out loud. I don't know the prices of Apple products where you live, but here, I would have to save up for over a year for iPad Pro. Not the a-hole. Stop cooking. Tell him to cook, clean, and take care of your toddler while you watch YouTube and actually take notes. Or just make cold sandwiches every day. Bologna and cheese every day for dinner. When he asked why no hot meal, because you have nothing to cook with. And make him another bologna and cheese sandwich. He'll get sick of eating them after a while. Though I have a feeling this selfish mama's boy would just go to his mom's for every meal, leaving you home with nothing. Or he would spend more money eating out and again leaving you home with nothing. I couldn't live like that. Not the a-hole. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my boyfriend he can't use my vehicle anymore to take his kids to school every day? I, 30 female, am starting to get frustrated with my 36 male boyfriend for not taking accountability for his own problems. He had a vehicle that he used to drive, but beat it into the ground and never gave the vehicle any TLC until we started dating 4 years ago. He drove it with an expired inspection sticker, like 3 years expired, until he got pulled over and an officer told him next time he would get a ticket. The car sat for an entire year until we moved to a new apartment, and the car continued to sit for another year until my landlord confronted me, saying it needed to be removed from the property due to no use, and it was difficult to start and move during the winter snowfall for plowing. My boyfriend got upset because it's his vehicle. He can have it there. Where does it say in the lease he can't have it here? After a couple of months, my landlord brought it up again and said he wouldn't re-sign a lease with us if the car wasn't removed. So in January, after my last warning from the landlord, I went and bought a new battery for the car, installed it myself, got a storage unit, had it towed to said storage unit, and told my boyfriend he needed to figure out what to do with it. 7 months later, the car still sits in the storage unit, which I'm paying $200 a month for. I recently brought it up to him and stated, I don't want this to be a fight. I'm just airing my truths. I said that I found it really difficult to continue storing the vehicle because he's not taking accountability for it. He's just forgotten about it until I consistently bring it up and ask what he's doing with it. I told him I found it really unattractive that there was no initiative and that it was really starting to piss me off. I'm the only one who's helped him with it, and he hasn't given a damn. I told him at this point he owes me all the money back, but deep down, I know that probably won't happen. He sat and listened to what I had to say, but didn't really offer any sort of game plan to get rid of it. This was a month ago. Today I sit here, getting the bank notification that $200 was taken out for the storage units again, and he's given zero effort to figuring it out. He uses my car for whatever he needs, including when his kids were in school, he would drive my car every day to bring them. I really don't have a problem with that, but I'm starting to feel used. He puts gas in the car, but treats it like it's our vehicle. I paid my car off, which was a huge accomplishment for me. But there's a small anxious part of me that worries that if he's driving it and gets in an accident, I'll be out of luck. I haven't had the conversation with him yet. I know it's going to be a hard one, but it's the only way I feel like I can stand my ground at this point. I know his kids may be a little disappointed that they can't see their dad every day, but I feel that I can't continue to keep allowing him to use it however he wants. And I also think I'm just going to have his car towed to his mother's house so they can deal with it. All I've done is put effort into this car. I put in spark plugs, a new alternator, and the new battery to get it to start, all by myself and YouTube. The car isn't inspectable and needs a lot of work that I know he won't put into it. And I barely got a thank you. Edit. Yes, he has a job. I take him to work every day and pick him up at the end of his shift. He has a good job but is saving money. Most of you have said that he doesn't respect me, and yes, I do see that, and have for a while. I know that I'm just letting him walk all over me, and that's why I talked to him last month about it and told him I needed him to figure it out. Let him know that this is the last month you will be paying for storage. Then go in and let the storage place know that you are ending the contract at the end of the month. Make sure he knows that and let him figure it out. Then don't re-sign your lease. Move out and leave this loser behind. He doesn't want a partner. He wants a mommy. Let him figure out how to be a grown-up. You don't need to waste your time and money on this man. Not the a-hole, but you will be if you continue to let him use you. All of this. He wants a mom, not a partner. You will grow to resent him if you haven't already, and your relationship will fall apart because of that dynamic. He will suck you dry mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially. Get out as soon as the lease is up. It's long past time for him to grow up. Not the a-hole, but you have bigger problems than the car. You're dating an entitled man-child. Probably time to cut him loose. When I was married, my husband was so proud that he had bought his dream car. It was what he was driving when we first started dating. It was a low-end Jaguar. Flash forward to a couple years later when we were married. And all that time, he never wants to change the oil, even though the dealership would do it for free and pick him up and drop it off. So 13,000 miles later, the engine basically seized up, and the car became a brick. While it was still under warranty, the dealership rightfully refused due to lack of maintenance. Nothing kills respect in a relationship faster than having to clean up the self-inflicted messes from your man-child yet again.